Hello. Welcome back to a chat to myself. Um, a space for me to chat to myself, where you may chat to yourself as well at the same time. Um, so today, I would like to talk about confidence, because many people tend to tell me that I'm confident. I believe in myself. I am inspiring to them. They admire me. It's all beautiful things that I receive every now and again from people. And it led me to ask myself why that is. Um, and while on one hand, I believe that is for sure because I am confident and I do things that I love, and I have the courage of doing them. Um, so I do appreciate my own efforts and skills, and so yes, there is reason to admire me for sure. But at the same time, I am very conscious of the efforts that and the sacrifices that took me to get to this point in my life. Um, and also, what does it mean to be confident? What does it mean to you to be confident? I'm wondering. Um, I'm not sure if you can hear the wind. It's very windy today here. How do you boost your confidence? How do you um, go ahead and do what you dream of doing? When you feel like, oh, but if I'm going to try, there's this, and that getting in the way. One good thing that you can do when everything gets a little bit too much, this is a good exercise for anything. Really, whenever you feel like, oh, I'm a bit overwhelmed, I don't know what choice to make, um, or you have an important choice to make, such as a change of career, for example. Um, I'm a fan of writing, so I would say write down on a page the pros and the cons of each choice. Um, you can be more creative. You can draw. You can paint. You can make stuff. You can put some music on if it helps you. Just find that kind of space that's just for you to be creative and to be safe. And then in that space, write down the things that would bring you joy and fulfillment from this choice, and what are the things that are actually affecting you negatively instead if you make this choice. And what if you don't make a choice? What if you stay in the status quo? Again, make a list, pros and cons. Or it can be not necessarily like pros and cons. It can be less structured. It can be like literally free flowing. I love just, start writing. Put your pen on the paper and don't think, and just start writing. That's very good because it's a way for your brain to stop filtering what you are actually feeling. Instead of what we tend to do is everybody has, especially if you don't work a lot in creativity in a creative profession, or you don't do a lot of this kind of challenging work. It's very personally challenging work. So what you need to do is appreciate that each individual has sort of a barrier. That's probably one of the reasons why art is so powerful. It's because we puncture that barrier, and we do it on ourselves first to be able to obviously reach to all the way to the audience, to somebody else. You have to be able to do it on yourself. That's why it's so powerful. It's the power of vulnerability, like I mentioned in the previous chat, and I'll probably mention it again. It's because we protect ourselves with things that we don't want to see We don't want to accept certain things about ourselves. That's called our shadow, stuff that we repress. Sometimes it can be called the bright shadow. These are Jungian terms from Carl Gustav Jung. And so bright shadow is like a part of you, a part of your shadow that you do repress, like the whole of the shadow of your mind. But the bright shadow is actually potentially positive, or potentially stuff that others may find positive, but you're not being allowed to believe that it is, or that you can be that. For example, creative, right? Creative can be something that is in your bright shadow. Maybe you've been led to believe that you need to work in a bank and make money, and have build a family and buy a house, because otherwise you're not a provider, you're not a man, or you're not a fulfilled individual. Just giving a very typical example of what can happen. And so creative is a beautiful thing, it's a beautiful adjective, but you don't believe that's you, or it can be you, right? That would be something that you may have repressed, that you may have put in your bright shadow. Essentially, when you write down, you bypass all that. If you write down without thinking, you start doing it and doing it without stopping. Don't separate, don't detach the pen from the paper. And especially if you do this every day. One very good exercise is doing this every day in the morning. As soon as you wake up, boom, don't think, don't eat and do anything. Bam, 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 start writing. At least 3 pages of a diary. I don't know what's happening right now. And it's so powerful, honestly. It's you learn to bypass that part of your brain that stops you from actually putting on the page how you feel. I love doing this because whenever I feel confused, or whenever I feel like, oh, there's too much going on in my life, I'm too overwhelmed, that helps me know how I actually feel that day. And it's actually an incredibly powerful tool for me personally, for my mental health. Like to see on the page, oh, that's where I'm at today. Great. You can do it in the morning, you can do it at another moment of the day. I find it particularly powerful as soon as I wake up, but it can be done really at any point. I also love doing it while I'm commuting or traveling. Usually when I travel, I write. I love to write. I don't know why. It's a space for me that's really powerful. How do I make this choice? Actually write it down and see. And hopefully from the page you might see that certain things are less scary than you thought they were. This is what happened to me for sure. Like at some point I was like, oh, I don't know what to do. And then stuff becomes clearer. Even the logic becomes more logical. I don't know how to describe it. It becomes easier. Even a logical choice that you could have made easily because it was the logical choice. You didn't make it because there was a part of you, there was a feeling, there was emotional, it was irrational, that was keeping you from making that choice. For good or for the bad, it could have been that, it was because you loved something, you weren't prepared to let something go. And so you were like, oh, I know that this is what I should be doing. For example, I want to change career, or I want to do this beautiful hobby, such as, like it's something creative, something like artistic, but I don't have the time. And so I know I shouldn't be doing that because I don't have the time. But my heart is telling me, yes, you should. And so I'm not actually able to do that, to make that choice, because something is keeping me from doing that. But if you realize that you have that feeling, you have something there that's keeping you, that may help you elaborate what's going on inside you, and then making the logical choice will be easier, right? And it may be that the logical choice, like in this example, is like, oh, I'm not going to change career, I'm not going to do that hobby, but maybe it will still be good for you, because you will have realized something about yourself. And it might be that creative aspect will come out in a different way. Like instead of changing career, you will find a dedicated hobby that's more like you. Sometimes we don't allow ourselves to be something specific. Say, for example, something very specific, right? Like, for example, being being an actor. Maybe you feel like, oh, I could never be an actor, but maybe I could paint, right? And what happens is maybe you try painting finally, thanks to this process, because you do allow yourself to be creative. It's like, you know what, I'm gonna try. I'm not gonna change career to be an actor. That's ridiculous. But I am going to take up painting. And maybe when you take up painting, you realize that that's what you really, really love, and you're happy with that. And maybe later down the line, you'll be doing some acting as well, but like as a hobby, or not. But that's your life journey. That is the point. The point is, follow what's happening inside you. Follow your listen to both your mind and your heart. And it's not that easy to do it unless you ask yourself questions. You need to ask yourself questions. You need to put yourself in that uncomfortable position, right? Okay, so one thing is definitely the writing down, but I don't know how to be confident, how to believe in myself more. I don't believe in myself more. All right. As usual, the question will always be, why? As in, try and really find out what the status quo is. How is it that way, right? So if your current situation is that you don't believe in yourself, why is that? Analyze everything first, right? Analyze it. Find out what's going on. Where does it come from? Where does your lack of self-confidence stem from? Yeah, that will be connected to your unfulfilled need, very likely, which we talked about in my first chat. And we'll talk about it again at some point. But yeah, it's one of the things that I always teach in my classes, in my method campus, has a lot to do with your vulnerability, your unfulfilled need. But let's talk about confidence here. So what is it that doesn't allow you to believe in yourself? So there are two factors here. Is it because confidence can be improved? And is it because I'm right? As in, I'm not strong enough. I'm not capable enough. I'm not skilled enough to be whatever I want to be. We want to believe that we are capable and confident and strong, etc. And so we get cocky, and then we try and do something, and it shows that we're not quite as amazing as we think we are. Especially if you have our high standards, that's going to come out, right? Like, I would see that I was good, great, well done, but not amazing. And I wanted to be amazing. And of course, whenever somebody has that kind of unfulfilled need or that kind of inferiority issue, they will always see themselves less than, even when they did a good job. They will always go and say, oh yeah, but it could have been better, right? So essentially, always go back to the core. Why is it that you feel that way? What's going on? So work on that first. Understand that has to come from yourself and not from outside. And then you can move on to actually getting better, okay? And this is, again, something I discussed in the other chat. But so regarding this one specifically about training, about how do you get confidence. So one of the two things is training, right? So one of the two things is make sure that you are prepared. Make sure that you do look into all the options. And then you will feel more confident just naturally, because you'll start actually being able to know things. You can give yourself interviews, you can ask your friends to help you, or you can speak to camera, or you can write down, or you will actually be able to see, look, I actually know this stuff now, and if it's something practical or artistic that you have to actually do put in practice before you can feel confident, well, then after you train, do some sort of activity, do some sort, a little show, a little exhibition. Again, it can be, a private thing. It can be just with your friends, or it can be, or the opposite, with people you don't know, so that nobody can, who knows you, is able to be there, and you're more protected that way. That's up to you. Both things are fine. So do a little something, do a little monologue, shoot a little monologue if we're talking about acting. And you can either just for you, or you can send it to a friend, or you can send it to a coach. And start seeing, oh, did I improve or did I not improve? Am I onto something or not? Right? So you're the judge. Do ask for feedback, because feedback is one of the most important things. I'm going to talk about feedback probably in a different chat, because it's, again, one of the most important tools that we have in acting and in coaching and in, growing in general, I think, being able to get advice from others. The second thing about how do I build my own confidence is having a support system. This is very good for mental health in general, and to have a safe space. They're connected, because having a safe space is pivotal to be able to feel confident. That safe space, you build it your own. It can be in a group, it can be just, private. There are different kinds of safe spaces. I think we'll, again, discuss this in a different chat, because it's a whole thing. But the support system is important in all of these. What's a support system? It's a network of people who support you, who care about you, who support your choices, if they're good for you, right? So one very powerful exercise, yet again, write down or draw. So one list is about the people who care about you, okay? People who love you, people who care about you. And then there's another list that's going to be for the people who support your creative choices, your, whatever growth you want to achieve. So say that we're talking about becoming an actor, who would support that? Or say that we're talking about, changing your, don't change your line of job, but do something more challenging, that might be potentially scary. Who would support that? Who would support you in your choices, right? It may not be the same people. It may be that some people care about you, but they would not support you, and that's fine. But I would just want you to have it clear on paper. So once you have those lists, so you draw 3 concentric circles, and in the big one, there's all the people that you kind of like. Everyone else is outside of the circle. You can write them. You can write their names outside of the circles. Like, these people, no, I don't want them. Inside the circle, yes, these people, fine. People that I care about, people that care about me. Then a smaller circle is people that actually really care about you. Not just people that you kind of like, but people that really would get in touch with you if you needed any help, if you were down. And the smaller circle is really the people that would support any choice. Any choice, as long as it's good for you. The people who actually believe in you. Who are the people who believe in you? Those are the ones in the circle. People who really, if you say, look, I want to leave my bank job and I want to become an actor. And if they see that makes you happy, they would say, do it. I'm behind you 100%. It doesn't have to be a long list, but have someone. And if it's not friends or family, that's fine too. There are other people like you. Know this. There are many people who feel stuck, and we need the support of our peers. We need the support of a network in order to feel confident, because that is part of the feedback that I was talking about. It's part of that kind of family feeling that people are supporting you. It's a community. But in order to feel like you deserve to be part of that community, you need to do everything else that I've already discussed in my chat. those are very important. So you need to feel safe. You need to have built that space. These are people that you do go and talk to. Um, Maybe do some creative exercise with them if they're so inclined, and make sure that you do go back to a place where it's like, this is my safe space. And that again can be just with you, or it can be with someone else. We're going to talk about the safe space in a different chat. But I hope you enjoyed this chat to myself today, and let me know in the comments if any of that helped, if you feel like confidence in something that you want to work for, if you've struggled in your life at any point or right now to change, career, or to believe in yourself more, to make that choice that is so difficult in your line of job, or to speak up to somebody, maybe even. So let me know your thoughts. If you like this chat, please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you next time. Mwah. Ciao.